My name is Rainer Brehm. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the automation business. And your question, are you in touch with automation? Probably not always, but probably the shirt you're wearing was produced with automation. And probably, I don't know how many of you have a coffee cup. The coffee cup the ladies just brought have been produced with automation. And if you have a coffee, probably the coffee beans in here have been roasted with automation. And there's a very high probability that this automation was delivered by Siemens. Every third machine, every third process plant, every third line is automated by Siemens. What I want to show you today is how we're expanding from this strong market position, number one, how we're using new technology to trailblaze in the next way of automation, and at the end, how we are using the data which are generated inside our controllers as part of the Siemens data fabric in order to generate value with AI. Automation is a very important aspect. In the past, you automated because you need a higher productivity and higher quality, faster time to market. In the meanwhile, automation is very fundamental to solve really significant topics of our customers. A lack of labor is hindering our customers to expand. Or if they have labor, a customer told me, I have a fluctuation of 20% every year. So I need to hire labor, they are unskilled. So how I can, maybe using AI to empower those workers working in a plant. Secondly, you have geopolitical tension, you have supply chain interruption. So a lot of production moves more closer to the consumer. Now, if you do this, you want to build state-of-the-art factories which are fully digitalized, fully automated. And we believe these factories need to be even more flexible to react on market demand, or maybe in the future even more autonomous. And last but not least, without automation and electrification, there's not a big contribution to sustainability. Electrification will be a major lever to move sustainability further. And at the end, we will not think only linear, we will think circular. And with that, we are delivering to our customers, for example, a digital product passport where they can have a life cycle tracking of their product. And we also repair our product, so we need to think much more circular. The market is attractive. It's about 80 billion. It's growing 4 to 5% in average, but there are growth pockets. And we have talked about them already. So Axel and Suzanne talked about the topic of life cycle. If you've seen Tony on his presentation at Rolls-Royce, that was aerospace and defense. We see semiconductor electronics as a growing vertical. And as data centers will become more an AI fabric, probably you need automation to run them. And Ruth will talk about that. If you think about AI and you think that further, we believe there will be a big trend to unattended operations or even light-out factories. And in our opinion, that would even boost that market growth, which is already on that slide. So how we do that now? How are we expanding from a strong position? So first of all, what is our strong position? I mentioned it. We have many customers. We are by far market leader in factory automation, in motion control, a very strong position in process industry. And we generate a lot of data. And we calculated that number for that event, and it was impressive. Even the number of the data which is generated inside our controllers was a 10x compared to 10 years ago. But expanding on a strong position, I want to go on one country explicitly because it was also an ask this morning at Roland. So what about China? China is number one manufacturing market, by far. So the question is now, how is Siemens doing in China? So first of all, we are number one in China. And in China, you need to see two market segments. The performance segment, where we are by far number one. And in this performance segment, the customers are looking for an end-to-end solution around digital threads, combining the real and the digital world. And we see a segment Roland called it value for money, where customers say, I want Siemens, and I'm even willing to pay a little bit more, but you need to be somehow in the price range of local competitors, which we're seeing rising up in China. That segment is a big market segment, and we are addressing this segment. We are addressing this segment with local value add in our factories, in our complete R&D. So we have built it up significantly. We had already significant R&D in China. We built it up even more R&D. And one outcome was when Roland was showing the A-Team product we just launched in March this year. Others were following now in September. And I give you one world premiere now. In this segment, we are number one at the PLC side. So that segment of 40% value for money, we sell our, it's called a 7200 Smart PLC. And in 4 weeks, we will launch this product. And this is the market leader on the market. This one will be successor. Now, this one has a double performance, has 40% footprint, and this relates to the question of Roland this morning, so are you losing margin there? It also has a significant better cost position than that one. So we are in China, we are having the right products, we are market leader in that segment, and we're expanding our market position in that one. And what we built in here, for example, is very high-speed motion capabilities. And why we're doing this? Because on the servo drive side, we are not number one in China in that segment, but in the combination of that product with our new servo drives, which by the way also now were brought on the market, we are very confident to expand into that market segment even further. And maybe something in the hand. And by the way, it's even, no, it's a little geeky, I know. And it's even modular compared to the other one, so you could do that. But anyway, I'm very excited about that product. Now, there is for sure now this value for money segment, and there is that big customers acting globally. And you know that customer, BYD, I don't know to talk a lot about that customer, but that customer sees Siemens as a strategic partner to expand their operation in China and globally. And they are all in with us. They're buying the entire suite from Tony. With that, they reduce their time to market by 25%. And they use our entire automation stack. With that company, only last fiscal year in the automation side, we did more than 150 million RMB directly with the customer. The interesting thing is now this customer has a lot of line builders and machine builders. Give them another data point. The biggest press manufacturer in China, Jia, delivered 28 press lines into BYD last year. That was a volume for us, again, of 160 million only with that one machine builder. So those customers are buying into us, and they're buying into us not because we have only singular good products, because we deliver the end-to-end stack, combining the real and the digital world. And for the value for money, yes, we have also products. And this is a machine builder which never used Siemens before. It's a glass machine builder, also a very important customer in China. They were with the competitors, but now having those kind of smart products, they decided they go with us. We sold our PLC, our drive, and on top, we sold some digitalization where we still have a very good differentiation also in China. So those customers go with us if we are meeting a certain price expectation. And we're seeing that growing more and more. So secondly now, so we're expanding on a strong position, and we want to, as a market leader, trailblaze into new markets. And this is kind of the technology stack how you automate today. It's called totally integrated automation. Siemens introduced that about 30 years ago, and this is how probably 99% of our customers are automating today. What we are doing, we're expanding this TIA concept to software-defined automation. Software-defined automation where you, for example, have a virtual PLC. Where we have been the first one bringing this on the market and the first one getting a TÜV certificate for safety. What we're doing here as well, we're using data and AI of our industrial edge system, which coming out of the field, and use them for more analytics as part of a data fabric. Those products are market leading. And you can see a lot of analyst report, technical analyst report. Here, for example, we just received in September from UL. UL is kind of the German TÜV. It's a very important certification body in the US. We received as the first company and the only company a platinum certificate for our VPLC and for our industrial edge. The PAC Radar sees us clear leading in industrial edge. They are recommending us under the aspect of cybersecurity, of usability, of functionality, and of the topic around connectivity. Now, what we do with these new products, we want to trailblaze into new markets. And the second biggest market in the world is the US. And yes, we are not number one in the US. And I think we have a fair chance to grow our market share. Why are we doing this? Because we are combining the real and digital world. Tony is by far number one with the software in the US. We are combining this, and we are bringing new technology in the market. And we see customers very interested in this new technology. Nobody else, even a local US competitor, can deliver. So we want to grow in the US with A, new technology. B, we also know having a great PLC, no customer in the US will switch because the inertia to switch is too high. But offering differentiating use cases, showing the customer value, combining the real and the digital world around digital threads, that makes a difference, and that makes us unique, and that makes a customer to decide for Siemens. We're doing that, again, on certain verticals with a certain focus, but we're also doing that as part of Accelerate for small and medium enterprises, where we build bundles which we sell via the marketplace. And last but not least, you have heard on the Hannover Fair agreement with Accenture. Just 2 weeks ago, there was a MOU together with Capgemini. We're working very close with Deloitte because those global system integrators, they're very, very interested to work with Siemens to enter into the factory space. And why they work with us? Because they use Tony's software already as an integration partner, and they see a great opportunity to expand their scope, expand their market. And there's no other companies which can offer the right technology, combining that, having the best starting point, and that's the reason why they want to work with us. Very dedicated accounts and be in a frequent discussion currently. And one big account, you see here's consumer packaged good in the US, the biggest consumer packaged good customer in the US. They looked at all the technologies. They were not a Siemens powerhouse, and they said, what Siemens offer is really the best, and I want to go with Siemens. They started with connectivity on edge. Then they said, I want to have, for my recipe of a detergent, for example, to get it in production, that need to be faster. So they followed the digital thread of recipe transformation. Now they said, I want to do, now having edge installed, high inline quality inspection. And you need to see that machine. A machine is producing 6,000 pieces per minute. 6,000 pieces per minute. And they do inline visual quality inspection using AI based on industrial edge. And they did it in one line, now in 9 factories, and they roll it out globally. We increased our revenue of that customer last fiscal year by 50%. And now they talk with us, how can you maybe help us moving into unattended operation? Because I want to have over 3-shift operation, 1 shift, the night shift, being unattended. Nobody is in the factory, and we control it remotely. And they work with us to go to that vision. That vision is very much based on AI. Because running unattended operations, you cannot do in a planned way, because things happen, and you need to have intelligence to operate on unknown situations. And now AI comes into play, and that is ARC, which is an advisory group also from the US. And they have a champion radar. They just published this 2 weeks ago. And you see here where they see solution capability and experience around industrial AI on the automation space. And they see here a clear leading position for Siemens. And we are leading. We get this feedback from customer. We get this feedback by bringing products on the market. If you go around the corner here, you have the bioreactor here. On the other side, you see the Copilot, how you generate code for a PLC. We are the first one on the market. We received in April the Hermes Award. It's a German innovation award for that product. And we are moving further. And Vasi will talk about that, how we move more into agentic AI. And then the question is, what's next? Will we move from AI, from the digital world, also in the physical world? And that will be a game changer for automation. And then you can do something like this. Maybe you can produce in the future a very personalized product at the cost of mass production. Because you don't program a system anymore. You tell the system what needs to be done. And the system finds a way, the automation system finds a way how to produce something completely automatic. Connecting automation cells, very flexible, producing things which you couldn't produce in the past automated, only manual, so the cost of a mass production. And it's not only a dream. This is a video from the Hannover Fair. We showed how physical AI will look in reality. And with that, maybe the next time on a Capital Market Day, that cup might be not a white cup. It might be a cup where you have an individual name printed on there with the same cost this cup was produced as a mass product. Thank you very much.